Hello once again, I'm still at ConBravo 2012, and today we have a special treat, the man who made it all, Mark Tjan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, and I might make you a liar because I'm a very small part of this, but I'm glad you took the time to interview me. So, what can I do for you?
I was wondering, how did ConBravo start?
ConBravo really began as essentially 5 friends in a room going, hey, you know what we should do is make a con? And then everyone's saying, no, that's a very bad idea. That's impossible. It takes thousands of people. And it wasn't until almost a year after we had that crazy idea that we came to another small con called Con G. It was small at the time. It's much bigger now. That's runs in Guelph, and we saw a con run well by 5 people. And we said, okay, it doesn't take thousands of people, and I think we could do this. And from there, by 2010, we had stuff put together, and we decided we were going to run a multi-genre con that was not in Toronto. We realized, like, a lot of us live in Toronto, but we also have a lot of people who live out in Mississauga or Brampton or Burlington or Hamilton or wherever, and we realized there's almost nothing that runs out there. There's no big general shows. You got like specific gaming shows sometimes, but it was a desire to serve the community out here and a desire to be multi-genre, which we've articulated now as new media and gaming and anime. And the new media portion, you can see it. It's taken up by the critics and the web video guys and the vloggers. And then you have gaming, of course. We have our gaming room. We turn everything we possibly can into a game so everyone has fun, and all of our live events, of course. And then we have the anime, which is mostly represented by the costuming community, but also, we do screeners, and we're looking into doing voice actors, so that sort of thing. And now it's been 3 years, and here we are.
It's been a great con so far. Having so many people around you and working for you and to look after, does it ever get overwhelming?
When you wake up on Friday morning and you have 26 text messages, that is the overwhelming moment. This is the moment where you say, how quickly can I put out this many fires? And that's sort of almost the watchword, is putting out fires, where it does get overwhelming, but you have to keep a really cool head and realize if you have reliable staff and you've trained them well and they have a good relationship with you, at the end of the day it's going to work out. And I mean, yesterday was the biggest fire of all, which was James Rolfe's signing was only booked for 2 hours. And then it was still huge. There were still, like 120 people waiting to get signed, and so he did another 100, and we extended it by another hour, which canceled his Q&A, but we took a vote, and by audience applause, it was like, we want to get things signed. And then, very graciously, right at the end, he needed another half hour, and the gracious Big Mike from the 404 said, you can take a half hour from my D20 live game, we'll start late, take the half hour. Even that still left 20 people behind, and James, the gentleman that he is, comes down and, just quickly just signed everything. He's like, okay, here we go. I really have to go eat. I need to sleep. And it was good. It really was good, and I feel incredible amounts of sympathy for James, who, signing for 3.5 hours. I hate that he had to go through that, but he was a real gentleman about it, and he loves his fans, so, I'm impressed with him, and the staff managed to negotiate it all and do it so well. It was like a miracle kind of came true. So.
And, what is your favorite part of the whole convention experience?
As an attendee or as a runner?
Let's say both.
Both? As an attendee, the best thing about conventions is, depending on the convention I'm at, actually, I have 2 convention types in my head, and they're represented in my history by Anime North and PAX East, the Pain Arcade Expo. And the Anime North style cons, where it's more like carnival, and you get to be crazy, and there's dances and there's live events and all that sort of thing. My favorite thing is that I do get to hang out with people I haven't seen in a year, and I get to chill out for like a party all weekend, and I get to watch panels and just socialize and be at rest with a lot of people and have a lot of fun. The other kind, which is like the PAX East kind, where it's more of a conference and there's a lot more speakers and it's run by experts in a sense. That for me, the best thing is being able to do things like story time, which is what they run at PAX, where it's the opening ceremonies, but you get to learn about the industry and you get to be educated in a sense. And I mean, both those experiences have really fed into how we try to construct the con here. And then going as a runner, as somebody who has to run cons or helps out at cons, I have tried to create a streamlined experience that I have at PAX and a fun carnival experience that I have at Anime North and bring them together where, you know, you're going to have the unruly lines and you're going to have people sitting in the hallways and partying it up and all that, and that's great. But let's have enough volunteers. Let's have enough people who can say, okay, we need this line against this wall, this line is starting here, this line has to be cut here, so that people don't have to wait or be bored or be really like jumbled, and we're not like getting the fire marshal coming down telling us, oh, you have to kick out 400 people because it looks too full. So we try to avoid that sort of stuff. And we want our programming to be really informative. We want people to be able to learn, to be able to hear from their heroes and from the people they look up to. So.
And how about your least favorite?
Least favorite as an attendee, let's start with. As an attendee, there's an old saying, other people are hell, and I have two very not favorite kinds of people that I meet at certain conventions. I run into two kinds of people, and the first kind is the elitist, very self-indulgent person who thinks that because they paid for a ticket, they get all the rights and privileges 100% over everyone else. You know, like they don't respect anybody else's time, and they're belligerent, and they yell at staff, and they yell at volunteers, and they yell at other attendees, and they just cause problems. It's like everyone's trying to have a good time, and you're messing it up, and it's just because you're so selfish. And the other kind are the people who make it really uncomfortable for women. I consider myself an equalist. I don't like using the term feminist because I think it's mildly a misdescription, but if you want to call it feminism. I have an incredible amount of female fan friends who are usually put off by people who like try to be too touchy-feely or creep them or follow them around. It's just like, guys, relax. You know, you shouldn't be looking for a date at this anyway. If you're fortunate, so be it, but don't follow girls around. Don't bother them. I mean, they want to have as good a time as anybody, and I've never heard of the reverse happening, or at least very rarely. And it's like, guys, relax. You know, these girls will respect you a whole lot more if you give them a reason to. So, as both attendee and runner, least two favorite experiences are people like that.
You mentioned before James Rolfe's signing going out long. Every convention has its slip-ups. What have been some of the bigger ones here at ConBravo?
Ones that have happened or ones I can talk about? We haven't had a hell of a lot of slip-ups per se, but we've had problems with just capacity issues. A couple of things got misscheduled, and we've had to switch rooms for them. It was sort of just oversight stuff, as when you build the event schedule, you eventually miss one or two details, and you're like, oh man, how did I not realize that till the 11th hour? And so, you know, we try to update it through Twitter and get people with signs on the doors and volunteers all redirecting people, but we had, for instance, the Channel Awesome panels, for whatever reason, got put in the main events rooms, and I know we had good reason to do that. I can't remember it anymore. I think it was literally trying to transfer lines from one section to the other. We're like, this is going to be lined up really heavily, and people are just going to have to go in a big circle because we have to clear rooms between, otherwise it's not fair to new people. But it was things like that where the Channel Awesome panel just had to be moved all of a sudden, and getting the information out was like, all right, here's the panic. So we try to do things ahead of time, but things like that, the James Rolfe signing, I mean, the Q&A was canceled, so I know there's a bunch of grumpy people about that, and I mean, sorry guys, what can we do, right? But things like that. The biggest disaster was put in the column Acts of God, things we can't handle, but James Rolfe's flight from Philadelphia to Toronto got grounded, and he had to drive up, which, you know, man is awesome for doing so. And between James and April, his wife, it's been a really, really great thing to have them up, and they're really they've really served the public, and I'm eternally grateful to them. But that was the big, like, oh crap. So.
And since the convention is coming to a close, do you think ConBravo 2013 will be bigger in scale or quality or more attendees?
Well, we will certainly be getting more attendees. Most cons do about 30% growth, and we budget an estimate for that. We will be probably moving locations to the Hamilton Convention Center because our current location can hold about 2,000, maybe 2,500 people on the outside. The Hamilton Convention Center can hold up to 12,000 in the end or so, and we're like, we could definitely use that space in future years. We've definitely done a lot of growth. I mean, even last year we did 1,200, which was a 300% increase, and this year we've at least done like a 60 to 70% increase. And because of I can't remember the word. Because of the giant rise in attendance that happens each year, it's like we're probably going to plateau at some point, but let's have the space available. Let's make it more efficient, and a convention center is right up our alley. So.
Thank you so very much for your precious time, and let me say this has been a great experience for the past 3 days here at ConBravo. Thank you for talking with us.
No problem. Thank you for having me on your show.